Hi Cubies, here's Alexandra again, and welcome to another show-off video where I show you, well, what was on my table for the last few months, and, well, I've been painting on my Deathguard Army, and here you can see the first unit. Those are my Pox Walkers, and the Deathguard Army itself has not a complete coherent color scheme. That's because, well, it is sort of an experiment army where I test out new color schemes and ideas and so on. And so it is a little bit on the chaotic side, but I think for Nurgle that's totally okay. So here you can see my Pox Walkers. This here was the very first one that I painted in green with yellow pox all over him. Then here we have a Pox infected. I really like this model. Very strange looking. And here my little conversion with a strange arm. Here we have another color scheme test with purplish and reddish tones. Then here a more pinkish version. Yeah, here we have a more muted skin tone variant. Some of them are really quickly painted with a simple dry brush, where others are a little bit more intense paint job. Sorry for that. This here I painted on a live stream one day. Yeah, the last two. And, well, those are my Pox Walkers. Now let's get them out of the way. And let's move on to my Plague Marines. So those are my very first attempts at painting Plague Marines here. With this, where I experimented a little bit with wet stippling. Here a little bit with well, a bone color and dry brushing. Here I experimented with oil washes and well, removing it with mineral spirit. Here another one where I experimented a little bit with typhus corrosion that I well, you have seen this one. This is from the painting tutorial. Yeah, then here I did a heavy wet stippling experiment with wet blending in different color tones. So very colorful Plague Marine. Then here I tried what ended up the method I'm using for my Space Marines, with a color chipping on the armor. And also, as you might see, I have several conversions here on my Marines, swapping out weapons and such. So for example, let's see, this here is the normal original, almost original model. Normally he had a knife in this hand and the plasma gun back here, so I gave this model here. And here we have one where I switched out a bolter. And here we have another one of those. You can always see this with a grinning face here. Here I have one with a different bolter arm, but kept the knife hand. Gave him a Terminator fly head and a different backpack. And ta-da, a totally different Plague Marine. Here I went for more of a Dark Angel color scheme with dark green to almost yellow. Yeah, then here we have one where I went with a more muted green tone, but with a bluish green, where used a little bit of blue glaze for the shadows here. Yeah, and here I used a little bit more of the Typhus Corrosion in the shadows, purplish skin tone. Yeah, as you can see, I'm experimenting a lot with my Deathguard. So let's get them out of the way. And the last few models. Here we have a bloated plague drone, or how they call it, fetid bloat drone, I guess. Lots of rust. And lots of Typhus Corrosion all over the place. Remember that I taught you how to stipple your armor here with this miniature. And this here is the first time that I used a different basing material. Normally I use sand, but you see this texture is not sand. What I'm using here currently is this thick mud from Vallejo Acrylic. Black thick mud. Well, it is a texture paste like that. You can just scoop it directly on the base, and it will dry relatively hard. It is a little bit gooey still, and it moves a little bit, but it's paintable, and it's a very easy and nice different texture than just sand. Yeah, then I painted up a very old miniature that I had laying around for years and years and years, and finally got around to paint him. Here's my little bit converted Nurgle Demon Prince. I gave him different wings, here with a fleshy tone, a little bit darker on the inside, and a different head. I really hated the head. And with a wobbly blade, you see this is not the metal, this is the fine cast version, and it had here this fly, what is normally here on this side. This was totally damaged by the casting process. Well, it's Nurgle, it fits. So, yeah, and now we come to the last model that I have currently in my Deathguard Army, and this is my good old, not Dreadnought, it is a Hellbrood. It was laying around for several years. You may remember that I've been unboxing the Dark Vengeance box set, and there he was in there. And I started painting him back then, and never finished him, but well, I dug him up from my from the depth of my bits box, and I thought, these fleshy parts, it looks really Nurgly, so just give him the Deathguard treatment. Also here, this was a skull base previously, and I added a little bit, a lot of the thick mud to hide several of these skeletons. This skeleton heads and stuff, so that only a few stay out here. So yeah, that's my little update what I've been painting for the last few months on my Deathguard side. I hope you like this, and well, we see us in the next video. Your Alexandra.